I'm doing another Splash commentary. What's up, bud?
What's going on, man?
Chilling. And I've also got Robby from Two Bros Gaming, the budget baller. What's going on?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. But the question at hand today is, should a dynamic ratings pack guarantee a dynamic ratings player? So let's go to Robby first.
I think it goes all back to kind of your morals and how you feel about what you want within the mode. I personally wouldn't mind a guarantee, but I think that guarantee has to come with some stipulations. I think you have to say, okay, you're not going to get a guaranteed gold dynamic player with every box that you open, let's just say. But I wouldn't mind there being some sort of guarantee so you feel like you don't want to open a box, right, and then get barely any dynamic players. But there should be some balance to it where not everybody's running around with all the same players. With the player pool that we have in the game, I think it's really important that you have some balance, but also a good reward for the player that opens the boxes.
So what about the high school coach, the varsity and JV? What about Bud? What do you think?
Yeah, I think, man, you should be guaranteed some kind of dynamic player due to the fact that there's almost 600 different dynamic players. And I'm not saying I'm agreeing with Robby on this. You don't have to get a goal, but at the same time, there's guys. I was just speaking to him about it. I'm a Magic fan, and we got Andrew Nicholson, who's been playing a lot better of late, and you don't even see his card on the auction house at all. So there's plenty of dynamic cards that are bronze and silvers that would also help you fill out your collection to help you get some of these rewards.
That's actually how I feel. I'm leaning more towards, I think it should be guaranteed in a dynamic pack, just because even if you do guarantee a dynamic player, you're not always going to get an amethyst or even a gold. There's going to be plenty of bronze and silvers. But just like Robby was saying, you have to have a balance there. And that's kind of something that they just have to make certain changes, and then you won't have to worry about this kind of stuff. Wasn't it last year where you could get like a diamond Kevin Durant? You would get so many different cards. Like every team, you had to get one of the best players. And then when you got all of them for all 30 teams, you would get that diamond Durant. See, but the problem was you didn't have to consume the cards to do it. So after you got Durant,
right,
you still had those cards. You can go put them back on the block and sell them. And a problem right now, the reason the prices are so drowned out is because of, if you go in the auction house and you search a player, you might see 100 or more of that player at the same time. So everybody's undercutting everybody, and that's why the prices are so low.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the word that you're looking for as a MUT player too is sets. Sets are the answer to me. Get those sets together. Maybe have some repeatable sets as well. Once you have that player in there, lock them in. That way people can't spam the system, and they still feel rewarded. Again, it's about the rewards and feeling rewarded for what you're doing in the mode to keep them coming back. If you don't do that, then people are just either going to abuse the system or they're not even going to bother. I know for me personally, I've got 2 cards away from completing the Bulls set. I was just saying this earlier on the podcast. I'm 2 cards away from completing the Bulls set. I have no interest in doing so whatsoever because my reward is a basketball. I don't care about that. I would rather have something come back to me, even if it's a little something that would actually help me and incentivize me to keep doing those sets.
I agree with Robby once again on that, because at the same time, you open up all these packs constantly, and it seems like no matter what pack you open up, it seems like it's the same 5 to 10 gold players that you're going to get as a gold player. So I wish you could put those guys in sets like he says, because it makes more sense to get more bang for your buck with all these different cards. Now, if you just put on the auction house, like you said, they cut down, and then next thing you know, they're worth gold players that are worth barely 2 KMT, if that. And I think that hurts the game in itself, because there's only so many rare cards, and these other cards are not as rare, and it hurts the system.
Another problem, too, is that on the auction house, we have to put up players for 4 hours. So what happens is there's just so many, because in 4 hours, everybody else is putting up another card, and that's how you have 100. If they lowered that to like an hour, then people would have to be around over and over if they want to keep posting it for an hour. So if you had the sets where you consume the cards, then there wouldn't be as many of them on the auction house. And then if you change the timer on the auction, it would be the same effect. They have to give value to almost every card in the game. And that's really what we're looking for, is sets, kind of like Madden, because you could have a set, for instance, that says If you get 100 gold players or 50, they have to figure out the numbers. But if you do that, then you can get this pack that guarantees or gives you a chance at this. If you put together 20 dynamic players, you might be able to get this and have different rewards like that.
Yeah, because you've got, after the first couple of seeds of Road to the Playoffs, right? You don't have any incentive to keep these silvers and bronzes around, except for a few of them. There may be a few hidden gems, but other than that, there's no challenges out there beyond a couple of games. There's no challenges out there to incentivize you to keep using those players. They just get ditched for 900 MT at a time, and there's no point to it. So what if I could throw 50 silver players into a box and get something a little better, an upgrade? That's what they do in that other mode, and it works. It makes people want to actually use those cards, get those cards for something, because they're being used for more than just kind of a partial sum of what you eventually initially invested.
And the funny thing too is that if you've ever played the mobile version of My Team, the My Team Mobile, they actually already have that concept. Like, you can take cards and put them together. You can get better versions of the card. You can upgrade cards. They have a better economy on the mobile version of the game.
You can turn them pro, man. I'm with you. I have played that.
I played it too.
Yes. I have played so much of that, and I've had a blast with it. And not only that, but they've got that road to the championship. They've got a bunch of other really cool things in there. And I know that they have meetings with them.
Yeah, like every week they're doing something, right? They're dropping some content, or they're giving you a new tournament. They have new cards. In that building, in 2K's building, in the same company, they already have all these things working. They just got to apply it to the console version, to the version that we're playing.
Well, it's made by that Cat Daddy is the company. So it's not technically in the same building, but of course they've got to give the go ahead, and of course they see it. So that they're aware of it.
Oh, they definitely see it.
Yeah, they're definitely aware of that. So I don't understand. I know there's some different licensing and some different players there too in some cases, but the ideas from that, they should be able to take some of those and implement them, because that would be great. I love the mobile game.
So what do you think, Bud?
Oh, I completely agree, because I played the mobile game, just to get the VC the other day, and next thing you know, an hour and a half later, I'm playing every single thing about My Team mobile mode, because it was so addicting, because it was so in-depth. And I was thinking the same thing. If you actually put that system, have it to where you're able to play and try out these different cards, give them boosts and things like that, and enhance that mode to the console version, it would be 10 times better, because we know My Team can still be better on the console.
That concept of going pro, Smoove, is like, that would be amazing. That alone would be amazing. Because if you play the mobile game, again, you've got these two cards, right? Say you've got two rare Alex Lens. If you put those together, turn them pro and upgrade them, they could be better than the next tier's card if your opponent hasn't upgraded it. That's pretty cool, because we've all had that with our YouTube channels, right? We open a bunch of packs and we've got all this dead weight in players that we don't really use. Kick it back for 2K MT at a time, right?
So what about this idea of maybe you collect such and such? Say I'm looking at Gold John Wall as we speak. Say we collect him, we collect some more John Wall cards or different other Wizards cards in general, and we were able to turn that into a dynamic version of John Wall, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Like, if you could convert your duplicates into the dynamic or any kind of concept like that. Yeah.
I'd be all for it, as long as you've got to work a little bit. As long as you've got to work at it.
You don't really want it to be pro'd, because I don't know how it would work on the game if we're like, let's say you have a Steph Curry and then you get a pro version of a Steph Curry. What exactly does that mean to his ratings? Like, in the card game, it makes sense. But on the game, I think that would be a little weird to do it like that. But like how Bud was saying, maybe you can get an upgraded version of that same card. Maybe if there's like a Moments card or something above it, you can maybe get a chance at that with whatever you're doing, with combining those duplicates. But in order to do that, they need a binder instead of what we have now. Because right now the game is designed to collect every card. And I don't know if I really like that method, because most people will never even get halfway in the collection list. It's too many cards. Like right now, like obviously Michael Jordan, he's the GOAT. So it makes sense that his reward's gonna be crazy. But collecting 2,700 cards, that's a lot. Even for somebody that's really spending money or even spending all their time in the game. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, with the dynamic concept we were talking about, like these cards, you don't see them on the auction house, so it's kind of like nearly impossible to complete the collections when these cards are that rare. So you never get a chance to actually get to that Jordan level because this card's not here, this card's not there, and you're just sitting here waiting, playing the auction house game, hoping that maybe one of these bronze dynamics that you can't even get in packs half the time pops up.
I think the other important thing that you touched on too, Smoove, was we are a minority as far as my team players go. I would venture to say that not everybody spends as much money on packs as us. If you're talking about the average player, I would say they spend a lot less, if not nothing at all, because they may not have the money to do so, right? So once you take that into account, it's like, okay, you don't spend much money on it. You're not going to get to 2,700 cards. There's just no way.
Not even close. It's impossible, actually. If you don't spend money, it is impossible to get 2,700 cards.
Right. But then on the other end, you have us, the minority, that blows through it. And there's people now that are starting to get some of those diamond rewards at the end. And those are the people that are on this social media going, hey, I don't have anything left to do. But
Right.
we've got to realize that we might be the minority there.
Yeah, but even if that's not you, right? Even if that's not you, that happens to everybody, because once you complete this road to the playoffs, you're going to be in that same position. You're going to say, what do I do now? Because there's no leaderboard, right?
There's nothing.
There's nothing for you to collect. Even if you do the seed over, you're not going to get a pack that gives you your contracts back. You're just going to be continuously running through your contracts using MT. And then they still have the 0-0 loss issue.
Arbitration, yep.
Ooh, don't talk about that.
Exactly. They still have that. So, yeah, we got to talk about that. But actually, since we're getting on this topic now, we need to talk about that drama with the dynamic ratings packs, because when they first put out the box, the text was wrong.
Right.
And I know that on Twitter, like, a lot of people were like, wow, 2K is scamming us. And even though technically 2K did scam people, it's not like they did it intentionally. Like, I don't think they said, we're going to put the wrong text here because we want to scam our customers. It's just that they had the wrong text. And then people were misled. They said, okay, I'm going to go open up packs. And then they got like one dynamic out of 10. So they did end up getting scammed. 2K eventually, they changed the text about a couple hours later. But they didn't really like admit to their mistake. They didn't do anything to the people that were affected. They just kind of like acted like, it's just like the 0-0 loss. Like, it's now December. We're getting close to Christmas. And they still didn't even touch that.
I made a video on that. I guess it's almost been a month now ago, and checked in about it. Was told that it's the #1 priority, or one of the #1 priorities, and it's still not done. I realize that when you're trying to troubleshoot something, you don't necessarily have a timetable, that you're just looking for a solution, and as soon as you find the solution, it's fixed. But that is #1 for me. There's been many times that I haven't played because of that.
Yeah, and we were talking about the dynamic ratings box. I did a video, open up a dynamic ratings box and the moments box. The moments box, apparently, you got moments cards that were actually good. You got cards you could use, and they're basically the same exact price. But it seems like the dynamic ratings players, they give you the regular current player version, and it doesn't even, like you said, you might get one dynamic rating player, and it might not even be a guy that you can even use because he's a bronze. But I would wish they would put more into it, to where maybe like you had the simulator where you could have a whole bunch of them, even if it's a small box or it's a larger price, where you got more than one player and a better chance to get dynamic ratings players. Because it seems like you can do a dynamic ratings box and you're going to pull probably 3 max, maybe 2, and none of them are ever good. And so it seems like you're just losing on that opportunity with the dynamic ratings box as it is, when you can go and open up a Throwback Thursday or a Moments box or something like that.
This is part 1 of my discussion with Robby and Bud. The links to their channels are in the description, and part 2 will be coming out later today. That's what I want to see. Oh, Fox, can you get this? Fox, can you go get that? Oh, he got it. Rick Fox. I found a sleeper. Officially. 3 games in a row. It's not a fluke. This man is a beast. Get that out of here. Not in my house.